Test. Okay. Looks like we're live. Test. Test. Hey guys, well, I think I've lost most of you, maybe all of you, trying to get this darn stream up today. I apologize for that. It all worked in testing, and then as soon as I tried to go live, things started to break. My camera went offline, don't know why. Audio went offline, still don't know why. I just restarted my machine, everything came back up. The stream wasn't working on my main YouTube channel, but on my other two, on Twitch and my secondary channel, was fine. No idea why that was happening. Anyway, we're here now, and we're going to get this going. So, guys, thanks for joining me. I think I lost all you guys waiting. It's 25 minutes late, and I'm so sorry because I started 15 minutes early to get it set up, and it worked perfectly in all the test runs that I was doing. So I am so sorry for that, guys. Really appreciate it, which means I won't get to chat with many of you today because you probably gave up on me, and I don't blame you. But what I am here to do today is talk about the channel, do a quick update with you guys, and do the giveaway. So it's sad that the folks that are in the giveaway may not be here and had given up on the stream today. I am looking at it right now, and it is actually running, so I do know that's there. Oh, wait. Oh, Dark Mark, you're there. Thank you. Oh, and Misfit, you're there too. That's fantastic. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you joining me, and that we're actually getting somewhere. Man, that was a pain in the behind. Anyway, welcome, guys. For some reason, my restream chat, you're not showing up. That kind of sucks. So I guess I'll have to just look at it from the perspective of YouTube. Anyway, I don't want YouTube on my screen, though. So we're going to move this over so you're not seeing that. Okay. Anyway, guys, thanks again for joining me. So we're going to start getting into a couple things. One of them is I do want to start doing the giveaway. And I put this up. I put Board Game Geek up so I don't have to take some of the boxes out and just show you the games that we're giving away and who they're going to. So again, for those folks who are joining me on the different channels, I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Let's get going. So channel update real quick. As you know, I am currently running a long-standing series of Conan Exiles where I'm fumbling through a survival game that's pretty enjoyable. I like it anyway. I think it's a lot of fun, and I know I've gotten a lot of great feedback on it. Just wrapped up the first, campaign scenario of Thornwatch. Wasn't that popular, so I'm going to move on from that, and we're going to do something else. I got a couple things I want to put on the table, and by all means, make suggestions based on what you know that I have, etc. I did just get in, and I don't know if you can see it behind me, but it's back there. It's Big Trouble in Little China, and I do want to put that on the table because that looks like a whole heck of a lot of fun. But I also do want to take your requests and see what we can do there. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to dive right into the giveaway because there's quite a bit of stuff. And for those of you who aren't live, you'll get to see it. It will be recorded and posted, so you're not going to miss anything. Now, first off, rules on how you contact me if you win. Many ways to do that. You could do that here on YouTube, just private message me. You could also go to BoardGameGeek.com, message me there under Doug Mystic Guy. And you can also message me on, I don't know how else you do it. You could private message me in many ways, I guess, on Google, etc. And on my Facebook page on Doug Mystic Guy. You could do all of those to get in touch with me so I don't miss it when you reply to your win here to get your address and all that good stuff. Do not ever post your address live or anything like that. That's bad news. So don't do that. I don't want any anybody to have any problems with people on the internet because they posted stuff like that live. Don't do it. All right, well, let's get started. So the first thing, I am going to display the first couple things because they're not something I can pull up a box for. So the first thing up is this. It is the, now again, USAopoly was kind enough to send me these for one of the games that I was looking to get a copy of Court of the Dead, but they didn't have one available to me. So they sent me some cool stuff, and I decided to give it away instead. So this is a Court of the Dead puzzle. It's a 1,000-piece puzzle. It's pretty nice looking. It's something you could probably put on your wall if you really want to mount it or something like that. Anyway, that one is going to be our first giveaway. And so what I did was I did a big spreadsheet and I rolled dice. And it was so funny because there's a number of people on the channel update that said, please don't include me in your giveaway. And I wanted to honor that, but I can't tell you how many times I rolled and got somebody that says, please don't include me in your giveaway. It was it was kind of crazy with the fact that there were hundreds of responses. But for this game is going to this puzzle rather is going to Rob Cannon. So Rob Cannon, if you're watching this, check that out, and it will be coming your way as soon as you get me your delivery information. Now, and one other little rule I'll just put out there is that if you are in another country, I may ask for shipping depending on how crazy it is. But we'll see. Second up is going to be, remember I had 3 puzzles to give away, and they're really cool looking puzzles. I don't think you can see the art that well on these. That's the art on it. They're really nice. Anyway, this one's called the Dark Shepherd's Reflection. Looks like that. And that is going to, oh hey, Mark, you're here. Dark Mark! It's going to, Dark Mark S, you are getting, yeah. Take it back. Nope, sorry, you're the next one. Gameline 141, this one is yours for the taking. So please make sure to send me your updates, and I will, your personal information, and I will get this shipped out to you. Okay, so this one, the Court of the Dead, this is the bigger one, the bigger puzzle, and Dark Mark S, this one is yours. So, please, I see in the chat, so if you're still around listening, please make sure to get me your contact information, and this will be on its way to you. So, those are the 3 puzzles. Next up, I had some games that were coming up. So, the first one was Teeny Epic Western, and I do have that handy right here. So, that's Teeny Epic Western in shrink, already brand new. For some reason, I had extra copies of some of the Teeny Epic games. I don't know why. I can't remember even how I got them. So I think probably at a convention or something I got them as a prize, or picked them up, or bought one and someone handed me another one. Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, I ended up with a couple extras. And so Teeny Epic Western is going to Kevin Engel. So please message me and give me your personal information so I can get that out to you. Next one is Compounded. That is also in shrink with the Geiger expansion. And that one is, I don't know if you've ever played Compounded. It is really an awesome game. It's about basically compounds, making stuff out of molecules. And it's a really neat, awesome game. And this one comes with the expansion from the Kickstarter that they did. So that is going to, let's see, Board Game Roamer. The Compounded plus the Geiger expansion is yours. Please make sure to get me your personal information. Okay, now the next one, I'm not going to put this up, but I will do this one on screen. This is the big one of the giveaways for my subscribers, guys. And let's see, wait, couldn't find it. That's not good. Maybe it's just Outlive. Maybe it's not. You can't pull up the deluxe version. There it is. Yeah, here we go. Outlive. Now, what I'm giving you guys here is the deluxe version of the game with the expansion. And the expansion comes like this, just so you see it. And it's like that. It's got the cards and extra components in it. It's a big, heavy box, guys. It might take me a while to figure out the cheapest shipping route for that one, but that's going to, drum roll please. This is the big one for my subscribers, and that is going to Blake8787. So Blake, please get your information, because this is a really awesome game that I had a copy of that I actually got it with the intent of putting it in a giveaway because it's so awesome looking. It's really neat stuff. All right, well, that was it for the subscribers. Now, my patrons, there's also a giveaway for my patrons, and I'm going to talk about those. Now, remember, in that, I have a surprise for you guys, too. I'm also going to give something away to the people in the chat, so just because you're here. So, let's see. Ventiliz. Yes, Ventlav. I've already rolled all the people up, and I'm telling you, because I made a list of them, and I'm after I rolled them, and I'm just giving them out now. So, well, it is live. I'm giving them away live. I just made the list first, so I didn't waste time rolling dice on a big giant spreadsheet. So anyway, yeah, I did pick all the winners. I didn't, yeah, because it was a kind of a painful process. So when I was, like I said, I was rolling dice, I kept rolling people who said, please don't include me in your giveaway. And the only way I knew that is I cross-referenced back after I made my list and went back to the actual channel update and read what people wrote. So anyway, yeah. So and again, I'm going to give something away here as well, which I can't see it, so I'm going to have to find it there. Oh, there it is. Okay, awesome. All right. So patron giveaway. You know, the first place winner is also going to get a copy of World Fair as a bonus, but my Feudum, my copy of Feudum with both the expansions, is going to go to Colin Degnan. Colin Degnan, thank you for being a patron. I appreciate it. You're going to get Feudum with the expansions. And then the big one, which is going to be World Fair and Darkest Night, the new deluxe Kickstarter edition, is Tony Brum. Tony Brum. That is going to you. So let me see. There are how many people in chat right now? Not that many. 10. Where's 10? Where are all of you? Let's see. I can't. It doesn't. You know, it doesn't show you. Doesn't show you who. So let's find a figure. Someone chat to me. What's a fair way to pick somebody from chat when I can't see everybody? Maybe I could do some kind of response thing. Yes, I did tell the plans already. Yes. So also, if you did win, please don't forget to instant message me or message me in some way privately your personal information so I can ship it out. And yeah, here we go. Yeah, Spirit Island is right behind me. It's on my list actually, and I know the chat's. I'm probably a little ahead of the chat because there's a delay in the stream, so I apologize if that's the case. And let's see. So let's see. I'm going to ask a question. So for the giveaway here, I'm going to ask a question. Let's see. I'm putting myself on the spot here. I asked this question before, so I'm going to ask it again because I see a lot of new people in the chat. Wow, hey, thanks for chiming in from the Ukraine. You know what I love about our world today is that I can sit here and chat with folks from Germany. Thank you for chiming in from Germany. Alter Troll and Venslav, thank you. I hope I'm not butchering that too badly. Thank you for joining me from the Ukraine. That is really cool, man. That is so awesome. Anyway, I'm going to ask a question, and the first person that answers in chat correctly will get a copy of Thornwatch, one of my copies of Thornwatch that I have, that I just ended a playthrough on. So let's see. All right, so I already know the answer to this, so that's why I'm going to ask it. What is the game that I have most streamed on my channel? There. So the first person that can answer the game correctly that I have most streamed on my channel will win a copy of Thornwatch out of the chat. So, because I would definitely want to give you guys away something for joining me. Watching for 2 years, man. Oh, wow. Venslav, that is so awesome. I love hearing this stuff. I got to... Misfit, you're correct. Darkest Night. You chimed in right away. So, Darkest Night is the one I have done the most streaming on, or most videos on in my channel. And that's why it was one of my big giveaways, too, by the way. So, Misfit, please get me your information. I'm going to give you my copy of Thornwatch, which I think is a really, really fun game with a lot of role-playing aspects to it. And again, I have access to another copy, so that's why I thought it'd be fun to give away, because I do want to play it more, actually. But I'm going to play it with some friends. So, Dennis, that was close, man. Shadows and Jen's Shadows of Brimstone is one of the it's one of the other ones. Subnautica, that's actually not a bad guess. Subnautica, I went 30 episodes on there, but if you combine all the different versions of the Darkest Night episodes I've done, it's way more than that, because I've done it on my channel 3 or 4 times, all the way back from the first edition to the second edition, and even the prototype version of the second edition when it came out. So yeah, that's my big beefy one. And out of the board games, I think Shadows of Brimstone or Touch of Evil was next in line there. Yeah, and yes, it is my Darkest Nights, definitely in my top 5 games. It's probably my favorite. I bounce back and forth between a couple of them. Another one that I really, really like is Kingdom Death Monster. That's a really amazing game. And then, actually, one of my favorite games I don't talk about because it's not a solo or a co-op game is Dominant Species. Is actually one of my favorite games ever. And it's really like a heavy-duty Euro type game, so that might surprise some of you. But yeah, so good, man. Vanilaz, you back to Darkest Night Second Edition. Yeah, thanks for letting me know that. I like it when I can help people decide on a game. That's really one of the main reasons I do this. Yeah, Larissa, I hope you enjoy it too. I think you like role-playing style games, if I recall. So I hope that's true, and that you will enjoy a copy of Thornwatch. So make sure, I'm going to write that down so I don't forget it. Make sure to send me your information, and I will get that out to you. I really enjoyed it. It didn't come across as good on a playthrough for some reason. Maybe it's just the style of play or anything, or I don't know. Because the components and everything are interesting. The art is fantastic, and the mechanics were really solid. And I liked how your deck could get clogged with wounds, and those wounds actually depleted deck. And whenever you ran out, you had to shuffle and then give basically the GM player some more tokens. And maybe that's why it didn't do as well. Hey, Isfan, thanks for joining me, and I appreciate it. But maybe that's why it didn't do as well on the people didn't watch as much. Maybe it was because you had to really have it works best when you have somebody playing the GM character, I guess. Yeah. Hey, Mark, I hope I didn't hurt your wallets too much. Anyway, I'm probably going to hurt your wallets with some games that are coming up. I have to tell you, some of the games that I put on the table, I'm so excited for them. Big Trouble in Little China, by the way, I talk about one of my favorites. I've watched I can't tell you how many times I've watched Big Trouble in Little China. And now I got the actual board game here, the Kickstarter version of or not Kickstarter, I don't think it was Kickstarter, but the deluxe version of it, sitting on my table, ready to do an unboxing. That's going to be my next video. It's going to be an unboxing of that. I also got Lords of Hellas too, which is another one. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Hellas? Let's take a look. Anyway, I got Lords of Hellas as well. I think it's Hellas, I believe. Yeah, right? Is that right? Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's right. So Lords of Hellas. I don't have any expansions for it, just the base game. Well, I have one expansion, the miniatures for the town and all that good stuff. I have that. So, guys, so now that I've basically, I know the anticlimactic, we've given it all away, given all the stuff away. I gave away, I don't know, like 12 things. It's pretty awesome. I enjoy that. I hope you guys really enjoy it. New reprint of Dawns of Zeds. I've actually already done that on the channel, and I will pick up anything that game puts out. If there's a reprint and it actually makes any significant changes to the second edition, I might pick it up. If it doesn't, I hope that they do like just like an upgrade for those that already kickstarted the original. That would be good. PAX Renaissance. Oh wow, yeah, wouldn't be good solo. Yeah, that's the thing. Now, I've toyed with the idea of doing live games with multiple people, but there's a lot of people that do that already, and I think my niche has always been doing like the co-op and solo games. And I mean, I got a gaming group that's over 300 people big that I could tap for those type of things. I just haven't done it. I've talked about it with a few people. We talked about doing some big long campaign games live, and doing weekly or something like that, and just never brought it to fruition because, like I said, I've always focused on solo and co-op. So I'm just kind of wanted to keep that focus, even though it would be a lot of fun to occasionally do that. And it can be done on Tabletop Simulator or the other one, Tabletopia. Yeah. Oh, Phil wrote solo rules for it. Okay, I'm going to have to check that out. PAX Renaissance. I'm going to make a note. I want to check that out. So, guys, while we're here, since I've done the giveaway and everything, and by the way, thank you all for coming in and joining me on that. I really appreciate all my subscribers. I'm going to try and do a giveaway more frequently, but with less stuff. So maybe once every other month, and I'll just do less stuff. Okay, I got that game written down, man. I'm going to check that out. And if there's also, I do like war games. That's a great question. Yes. So back in the day, so I've been gaming for a long time, as you can tell. I'm not a youngster. And I used to manage a game store in Pasadena, California, a long, long time ago. I was an employee there, then an assistant manager, all that good stuff. It was before it was actually popular, before, I mean, game stores and gaming wasn't as popular as it is today. And one of my first big games that we used to play was Squad Leader, if you remember that. I mean, the original one. That's a pretty beefy war game. We also did a lot of miniature wargaming, tanks, and World War II stuff, and fantasy wargaming. We had a big giant sandbox where we could create tabletop areas. It was so much fun. Yeah, I know. Yeah, giveaways are good. Playthroughs are more fun. Thanks for saying that. I do appreciate that. That's awesome to hear. I agree, and I'm trying to do more and more. So I started a new job, guys, and I was in a really bad job for a while where my bosses were not good people, and I'm not going to get into the details on it, but I ended up leaving there, and basically I left there for ethical, moral reasons, and as a result of that was out of work for a bit and then came back to my new job, so I had to dive in. So I've had a little bit fewer playthroughs, and I've kind of supplemented that with some of the video gaming stuff because it's easier to get up and post it than the playthroughs for board games. So that's why I was a little slower on getting some of the playthroughs out, even though I think I've gotten a Thornwatch video out about every other day up until the point where we finished it. So I think that's still pretty good. I'm trying to get at least, my commitment to the community is to try and get at least 3 board game videos out a week, including the weekends. I'm just trying to keep up the pace on that. And with so many games, I almost want to do 2 at a time. But I have some space constraints on that. So my office here is not that big. I have a big table in here. I also have a table downstairs that I use occasionally when it's not going to be noisy. So Fields of Fire. Yeah, that's another one. Let's take a look at Fields of Fire. That's one I've seen a lot of online. A lot of people talking about it, but I haven't really checked it out. So if it's a pure war game, I don't know if that would be ideal for my channel, but no, it's not. It looks like it's card-driven. Looks pretty cool. Interesting. Yeah, so, wow, that looks pretty neat, actually. Okay, Fields of Fire. Gotta check that out. Of course, you see, now you guys are breaking my wallet. So, telling me games I want to put in my collection. If you were to compare this to something else, board game style, what would it be? You know, there's what was one of the games I had it on my channel that I really like? Field of Fire will be printed this year. Oh, it's not done yet, or is it a reprint? I think it'll be a reprint then, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I bet. Man, you said Grok. That's awesome. I haven't heard that in a long time. We said it all the time when I was growing up. Yeah, I don't know about grokking rules is always a challenge, right? Especially when you're trying to do playthroughs over and over again, different games. I got to tell you, I have so many rules floating around in my head. Sometimes I pick up a game and start thinking it's a different, thinking about rules for other games because they're similar. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, I've done that a bunch of times. So what other questions you guys have, man? Guys, Fields of Fire looks really interesting. I'm going to check that out. Oh, so it was published in 2008. So I guess there's going to be a reprint. Probably a little hard to get a hold of. Let's see, what's it? Well, it's not going for too bad on eBay in that. There's a 2017 edition for $55 on through PayPal on the Geek Store. That's not bad. I mean, it's normal game pricing, so interesting. Okay, another one from my list to check out, Fields of Fire. I am making a list. So I got, where's my other? Oh yeah, PAX Renaissance and Fields of Fire. PAX Renaissance, did Ricky Royal do something with that? If you guys recall, I think he did. If he did, I'm gonna go back and watch that because I thought I watched part of it and then got sidetracked by something else. Alter Troll, Sword and Sorcery. Yeah, that's definitely a great game. I need to get that back on the table. You know, the problem is that there's always something new. I'm so bad at that, man. I should go back. You know what I should do is stop trying to acquire new games, And by the way, I'm not a rich guy. One of the ways I acquire new games is I did a lot of role playing books that I still have many copies of, and I'll trade them. Oh, Pax yes, that one, Porfiriana, whatever that is. Yes, that's the one he did. I just remembered it started with Pax. Yeah. Yeah, Starfleet Captains. That's a good one, man. Oh gosh, we're gonna. Well, anyway, what I was saying was getting sidetracked by the chat, which I appreciate. I've been thinking about just kind of like putting the brakes on and going back through and doing like a retro. Because when I say retro, I'm talking about even from earlier this year already, games that I had already put on my table. Like I want to do a longer series of Sword and Sorcery, for example. I think that's a fantastic game. So I want to do that one, and I haven't had. I haven't had some other games that I was trying to think, like Fortune and Glory. I haven't put that on the table in a long time. Overturned Rising Sands. I think I saw that one, Larissa. I believe, heck, we can go to Kickstarter, check that out. Go to, let's take a look at that while we're here. I guess I could search, right? That'd be easier to search. So I guess I didn't forgot to bookmark this again. I don't spend too much time at Kickstarter anymore. I try not to. It's really bad for me. Anyway, what's it called? Overturn? Overturn, yeah. There it is right there. Let's check this one out, guys. While we're looking at... Oh, I did see this. Yeah, this looks really awesome until I got to here. And I was like, yeah, that looks fantastic. Look at all that. That looks great. Woo! Man, wow, that's not... I mean, okay, when you look at what you get in it, it has great value. Obviously, the miniatures alone are probably worth the price of admission on this, right? Well, my most expensive game ever backed on Kickstarter by far was Shadows of Brimstone. I didn't back Kingdom Death Monster originally. I acquired that through a bunch of trades. Otherwise, but that would have been, because I did kickstart some of the expansions for Kingdom Death Monster. But yeah, so far it's Shadows of Brimstone, without a doubt. Now, if you took all the CMON Zombicide games together, it might be close, but I don't think so. I still think Shadows of Brimstone takes the cake on that one, because I have so much Shadows of Brimstone stuff I haven't even put it all together yet, which is on my very long list of things to do. So yeah, definitely Shadows of Brimstone. And the second place to that would be, I would say, Zombicide collectively, because they came out with all the different versions of that game, and I did back all of those early on, and I still play them. What else did it? What else was a pretty big buy for me on Kickstarter? Cthulhu Wars. Cthulhu Wars was another big one. I don't think it wasn't close to Shadows of Brimstone. Shadows of Brimstone by far the biggest one. Yeah, Isvan, the reason you see that on Kickstarter, what you asked is, and I don't think everybody can see the chat. Isvan asked, it says it seems like board game designers just focus on minis and less on gameplay these days. I don't think that's necessarily true, except for on Kickstarter. No, I didn't forget Forgotten Fortress at all, Larissa. No, absolutely. I got, yeah, so if I include Forgotten Fortress now, which hasn't been delivered yet, then the Shadows of Brimstone line is by far the one I've invested in the most on Kickstarter, like leaps and bounds. And I'm a big fan of Flying Frog games, as you know. I've done A Touch of Evil a bunch of times on my channel. I just did, what was the one I just did? Last Night on Earth, the Anniversary Edition. I've done Shadows of Brimstone, and I've done Fortune and Glory. So yeah, those are some of my favorites, without doubt. But going back to this one, this Middle Eastern folktale game, I even watched a video on this. It looks so cool. I just don't know if I can make another investment at this time. It just looks fantastic. It really does. And by the way, occasionally someone will be kind enough to send me a game for the channel, and I really appreciate when people do that. That is so awesome. For example, Jamie Stegmeyer sent me a copy of Scythe for the channel. I did a quick video on that, and I was about to do a solo play, but everybody's jumped on the same wagon, and so there was a bunch of solo plays for that out. So I kind of held off on it. I want to do it after everybody else is done to keep the momentum going and have a fair shake of people seeing the game. Oh, Madara, yes. Madara looks like a real good one too, Venslav. Yes, he said Madara seems to be a really great gem. I think so. It's taken a long time to come out. I remember when I backed it, I didn't think it'd be waiting this long. But yeah, that one I'm looking forward to. Yeah, and you're right. They did, man, it's taken a long time and it got way off track. Yeah, I did back that back in 2015. And I think, I can't remember if it was $100 or whatever, but yeah, I backed that one back then, and it looks like it's getting close to coming out. In fact, I was watching some videos on that this past month. They've been putting out some content videos on the minis and the cards and playthroughs and everything, which is really awesome to see. So yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun when it comes. This one, I got to tell you, if times were a little better for me right now, I'd definitely get this game. This Overturned Rising Sands game. This looks fantastic. Yeah, so because I did back one game right now, and that's Solomon Kane, which well, let's look. I am a Robert E. Howard fan. No, I don't want. I'm doing all kinds of crazy things, doing the wrong thing here. Hold on. So Solomon Kane here is one that I am backing, and that's why I'm basically only backing one big game at a time. That's my rule at this point. So this is it. So I did back this one. So yeah. Grimslingers Ultra Troll said, last week I bought Grimslingers. Great game. Did you try it? No, I haven't tried it. I've seen it. It looks really cool. But yeah, so that's one that I saw a couple times. I've seen a couple of playthroughs on it. I'd love to have it. It wasn't high enough on my list. Neanderthal, that's another one. I said you're waiting for Neanderthal by Phil. Yeah, I saw something on that one. It was, I think, was that Kickstarter? I believe it was. I think I did see that. Hey, Kevin, thanks for joining me. Hey, man, I don't know. Kevin Erskine joined me, by the way. No, you're not. It's Kevin Engel that I thought you won something, but it was Kevin Engel that won Teeny Epic Western. Anyway, I think you're one of the people, Kevin, that said don't include me. I can't remember, and I rolled your name on that and went back and looked and saw that you didn't want to be included in the giveaway. I believe that was you. I'm not sure, but anyway, what's the red flag? So Kevin wrote, Overturn has some flags for me. Curious what those are. That's a great discussion point. So I'd be really curious to know what those are. I wonder if I can do this. Let me. You don't want to see me talking to you because you're already watching, but I thought maybe I'd pull the chat over. Maybe I can pop it out. I think I can. Can't I? Yeah, I can pop out the chat so you guys can see it too. There. We're going to put the chat right here, guys, so you guys can see what everybody's saying. That'd be awesome. So, yeah, so you don't need any of the Teeny Epic ones anyway. But you know, the Teeny Epic games are great. I tend to take them to meetup events because they're small, compact, and have a lot of gameplay in them. Teeny Epic Quest, I really like, by the way. It's a really good one. But going back to Solomon Kane, guys, I don't know if you've seen this, but yeah, the gameplay on this looks so cool with the way it plays out. So I don't know if you haven't looked at it. Basically, Solomon Kane is like a Puritan Conan. I guess is the only way to look at it. He's a very righteous figure. He's trying to combat evil, and he's just one character. And in the stories, there were other ancillary characters, and I thought maybe you'd be playing them in the game, but you're not. And what's really cool about this is all the players basically are influencing Solomon Kane, which is super cool, right? I mean, that is... Okay, my chat let's bring the chat back up so I can talk to you while I'm doing this. And you're playing these virtues like... trying to think of them like that, justice, for example, and your character is actually one of the virtues, and you use the powers of your virtue to guide and protect and help Solomon Kane. And there's these decisions that you have to make that that can influence Solomon Kane's stats and make him better or worse, or raise danger, raise the enemy level. And the interesting thing from a thematic standpoint that's so cool about this is Solomon Kane himself doesn't know that any of this is happening. He is going through his world doing the best he can, and he's relying on the virtues of his own character to succeed at the mission at hand, whatever that may be. And even a lot of the enemies in it don't have, like, they're not physical manifestations. Solomon Kane doesn't know they're there, but when they get to Solomon, if they actually get to him, then they mess him up. I just thought that was such a cool concept that I had to. Not only am I a fan, I mean, I got a copy of the original Conan, issue #1, Conan the Barbarian, on my wall, framed up. It's mint condition. And that's how much I like the old Robert E. Howard stuff, even though today it's probably considered very not politically correct, just like the Conan game I'm playing. But I don't really care. It's just games and fiction, so it's fun. But anyway, this is the concepts around this were so cool that I had to grab it. So anyway, that's my spiel on Solomon Kane right there. I'm not telling you to back it one way or the other. That's why I think it's interesting. So Folklore, yes, Folklore the Affliction is another game that I really want a copy of. Actually, I was supposed to trade that with Colin at the One Stop Co-op shop, and I don't remember what happened. I think I need to reach back out. I don't remember why we didn't do that. We were going to trade something, and I was going to pick that one up so I could put it on the channel. And by the way, if you're not watching his channel, it's pretty awesome too. So check that out. But all right, the chat. Trying to keep up on the chat. I think I got behind on it. Okay, there we go. So yeah, Folklore the Affliction and Solomon Kane do have some similarities in the theming of it, but I think the gameplay is radically different. Yeah, way too many choices. You know, I try to not visit Kickstarter so much. I wait to see something that pops up that's really appealing, and then look at that, because I just cannot keep the pace with the games. And like I was telling you, one of the ways I've gotten around that and gotten to be able to acquire some games that I want is through trading out the old role-playing books that I still have, that I had designed, that I have boxes of, that people want. So that's one of the ways I've done that, because like you guys, I'm not, like most of you, I'm sure I'm not somebody who can go out. You can't buy 10 games at a time. We go broke, especially with the price of these games. And these games on Kickstarter with all the minis are, you know, they're more expensive, and the quality's really good. So this is definitely Solomon Kane, definitely high on my list. What else you got, guys? What else you want to talk about? Grimsling I think that's come up a couple of times. Yeah, I don't know enough about it, so I don't have much I can share on that. But we are definitely living in a Renaissance era of board games. Actually, I would like to say we can take that a step farther. I think we're living in a Renaissance boom, a Renaissance era for everything intellectual in a lot of ways. And what would normally have been considered geekdom or nerddom is becoming more mainstream. I mean, when you look at the mainstream of board games today, I know more people playing board games now than ever, and I don't know where they came from. They just, you know, it started with things like Settlers of Catan. I saw a live commercial with Settlers of Catan. Sorry, my phone was going off. Mentioned in it. It was a game night commercial for something. It was just, I can't remember what the product was, but it mentioned it in the commercial. That was really amazing. So when I think about our world today, and I look at like I watch, I don't know if you get a chance to, but I watch Critical Role, where a bunch of really awesome voice actors get together and play Dungeons and Dragons, and the popularity of that is mind blowing. And I know that a lot of people go and watch D&D online now, watch people playing D&D, but that's really the pinnacle of it, and that's why I'm referencing that one. There's a bunch of other good ones too, but it's amazing how many people I know are doing that. It's just phenomenal. It's really mind-blowing. So when you look at the culture that's developing on that, you look at movies. I mean, God, if you're a comic book superhero fan, there is no better time than right now. And I think all of this is encompassed, right? It's covering the whole gamut. Board games, video games to a degree, you know, movies, the pop comic culture, all that good stuff is cosplay. I remember my first Gen Con, guys. This is going to tell you something about my world and how long I've been in this. My first Gen Con, when I went to Gen Con, there was no such thing as a cosplayer. Never existed. Now, because it's become popular and it's part of the popular culture, the greater culture, and cosplay has become like almost an industry in and of itself, it's big. I mean, you see all kinds of people show up at these events now that never had anything to do with gaming, but do cosplay now, mainly because of video gaming, but still, it draws them into the industry as a whole. So anyway, I'm kind of grandstanding on this, but that's my thoughts and philosophy on our culture right now, where we're going in regards to intellectual things like gaming and board gaming. Reading, I think, is making a bit of a comeback. I hope it does, because people need to read. And every time I'm on Facebook, I'm reminded that too many people don't. But yeah, Kevin, yeah, man. Yeah, Gen Con, there was a time when Gen Con was almost all role-playing games and had a smattering of board games. So what Kevin said was, I'm with you on Gen Con. Back in Wisconsin days, almost all role-playing games back then. Yeah, that was very true. Very, very true. Yeah, and I think one of the things that's neat about board games is being out. So I employ a lot of diverse people, a lot of age groups in my work. And I see that, you know, when you look at people that are 35 plus, they tend to put their phone away when they talk to you, for example, even though we're all getting really bad at that. I'm as much a victim as anybody else. But board games, role-playing games, are actually a catalyst to bring people back together to talk to each other. And that, I think, is, if I could put a value on that, even with my own children, for example, that is probably the biggest value I could put on the community of board gaming and role-playing gaming. Is that it's still something that brings people together face to face, real time, or even online. It's still a communicative event, right? You're talking to each other. You're not doing all that crazy stuff. So, yes, exactly, Isfan. Yeah, sorry. Chat and me are not on the same page because there's a delay. So I'm trying to keep up with it, but it gets ahead of me. So yes. Yeah, that is your point, absolutely, and I get that. That is very true. So, I think that culturally we're in a really neat place for gaming, and I hope that continues. And that's actually one of the reasons. Back when I started my channel a few years back, one of the reasons I did it was because I was being drawn to some people that were doing it. Like the Lonesome Gamer at the time was real big. Ricky Royal was one of them. Rahdo had just gotten started actually when I first started watching board game videos and that, like, and I realized the contribution there is that it's drawing a larger audience into the board gaming world, and people are engaging in a larger variety of games as a result of that community. And that's why I want to be a part of it. Yeah. So Kevin says, I agree. My daughter asked me if I'd heard of Dungeons & Dragons, and I laughed. So I started playing D&D with my grandson and his friends to get them off their computers and phones. Yes, I have a plan to for my older boy. We are planning to start a D&D game, and of course my younger son too, but he's the one that wants to do it. And I agree, couldn't agree more, man. What a great way to get people together, especially your children, and use that as a catalyst to teach, communication skills with people. What an amazing thing, right? Because they're losing that. Our children are losing that. Again, I don't want to grandstand. This isn't my personal philosophy channel or anything like that. If you want that, I don't know. Some of you may like my philosophy, some won't. But yeah, that's great, Kevin. Yeah, it's something that I think I wish. I do see a lot of the people that I know that are in gaming do that. They have a game night with the family, and it brings the kids and everything together. And I notice that, and this could just be my skewed perception, but it seems to me that the kids that do that are a little more well-rounded from a communication standpoint compared to some of the other ones that I know that are just, they play a lot of video games now and they're on their phones, but they don't socialize. And that socialization is something that the next couple of generations are going to really struggle with when they enter into the workplace. And if you can't tell, I give talks on these sorts of things, on the workforce and how you have to manage to it today. It's an important thing because you have to manage to the workforce today much differently than you did 10 years ago. And it's just a different world. And I'm not saying it's a better or worse world for that. It's just different. Our instant access to knowledge, our need for instant gratification has impacted how we work and how we play, right? So, and it definitely impacts how we work. And, I always have to when I'm coaching younger employees, I have to remind them that this isn't eBay, it isn't Amazon. And when your promotion isn't going to come the next day, because you ordered it or want it, right? But yes, man, without socialization, there is no society. That is a great comment, and that is absolutely true. And we're seeing a breakdown in personal socialization and a move to an impersonal socialization, which is, I don't know if that's a real thing or not, but we do socialize, but we do it in a weird way that's not interpersonal or connected. It's, I'll give you an example. I had a friend of mine that was on the dating scene, and he was, I don't know what's popular now because I've been married a long time and don't even look at these things, but he was on Tinder, right? And he said, man, I'm dating this girl, and you want to show me a picture of her? He showed me a picture. It's just a torso of a bikini-clad body. And I was like, okay, is she nice? I don't know. You know, what's she look like? Oh, look, can't you tell it? Like, no, I can't actually. But you know, that was actually more important to him, just that visual thing, because that's what we all operate on now with all the devices and things we have. That's not how you build quality relationships, right? So, of course, Tinder's not meant to build quality relationships. So it's way sidetracked. Anyway, Arjun, just there was a cool Kickstarter for intro role-play games. Name is Scales and Tails. What do you think of that? I haven't seen that. Let's look it up. We're going to check it out, man. We're going to check that out. Let's take a look at that. Scales and Tails. Oh, there it is. Did I miss it? I thought I had it up there. Scales and Tails. Yeah, there we go. Let's take a look at that. Let me get the chat back up so I don't miss anything. Oh, yeah, I think I did see something pop up on this. Role-playing game starter kit. This is pretty cool. I have to look at that. That's really interesting. So Scales and Tails. It's an introductory role-playing thing, huh? And it's an activity book, so it's good for children. I guess that's the premise of it. Interesting. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. It's inside the box. 50 pages are instructions, the user guide. It looks like it's meant to be simple. That's kind of interesting. So the personality generator would definitely be helpful for younger people entering the role-playing world. It kind of force them down a path of getting out of their comfort zone and having a personality that's not their own, which is one of the biggest parts of role-playing, right? You're role-playing, playing character. So that's interesting because it even then rolls hobbies and interests. That's interesting. Arjun, I think, yeah, that's really cool. I'm gonna flag this one. I don't know how long it's got. Let me see. How many days has this got, guys? Let's take a look. This wasn't meant to. Oh, it's already done. No, 8 hours. 8 hours to go. Okay. Well, after the stream, I'm going to take a look at this and see. Might be interesting, though. I think for my kids, they're old enough and experienced enough, and didn't want to do that. They're old enough and experienced enough in role-playing games that I could just go straight to Pathfinder or 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, and that would be fine. Let's see. So, hey, Roy Sykes just asked, hi, Doug, and thoughts on Big Trouble in Little China board game? Well, I don't know yet. I got the box. Here. Okay, let me step back. I've watched some videos on it. Looks like a heck of a lot of fun. I got the box on my table. It arrived yesterday. I haven't even unpacked it out of shrink yet because I'm going to do the first video in that series is going to be a kind of an unboxing of it. So I don't know, but I can tell you I'm a huge fan of Big Trouble in Little China. If it's even a decent game, which it looks like it is, based on everything I've seen, I will enjoy that because I think the theme and the movie, how it looks like it's managed to base itself on the movies and everything is really cool. Like all those games, I wonder, this one looks like it might be more well play tested than a Kickstarter game because it wasn't Kickstarted. It was, I guess, in a weird way, crowdfunded, but not through the typical crowdfunding channels, just a big pre-order. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it. I will definitely let you know more of my opinion when I play it, but based on the videos I've seen, it looks like a heck of a lot of fun. In fact, I just finished watching Becca Scott, Game to Game at Geek and Sundry did one, Big Trouble in Little China. She did a little rules overview, and then they played it. I watched that one. That was fun to watch. They get a little campy, which is fine. I don't mind that at all. They're trying to kind of act out and do some silly things, which they do. And I think that Becca Scott does a great job explaining games quickly, though she's a little dramatic at times. She's very drama. I like it. It's fine. I like it. But I saw that one. So that was one of my foundations. And I saw another playthrough. I can't remember who did it. Oh, it might have been Marcus at JPlay, if I'm trying to remember, because they got it overseas first. He may have done that. So if you want to see some playthroughs, there are already some out there. So you can look at Game the Game, and I believe Marcus at JPlay did it as well. Check that out. We can look that up too, actually. Okay. It's funny, Dark Mark, I don't want my kids to grow up, but from a gaming standpoint, I can't wait to introduce them to board games. Yeah, man, you know, it's so funny. When my kids were teeny, I said the same thing. I wish they'd stay really little, but now that they're growing up, we're getting to do, it evolves. And again, I don't want this to be my personal philosophy soapbox, but it evolves. And now I get to do things with my kids that are very different. Like, you know, playing actual games and you know, playing video games with them and going to outdoor events and things like that they couldn't do, big hiking things that we like to do, stuff like that. So it just kind of morphs and changes, and you do these things with them when they're little and they're so cute and fun, and then they start being able to communicate with you, and then your relationship changes. And honestly, when they start hitting teens like mine are now, your relationship gets strained pretty rapidly, but it's definitely enjoyable to watch them grow and change and interact with them. So yeah, but I do look back on the little pictures and go, oh man, I remember when. It was a lot of fun. So Kevin, I'm not good enough to DM my own creation, so I just buy modules. Yeah, hey, Kevin, yeah, that's fine. I've played lots of modules. What was the one? Caverns of Thracia. Man, my gaming group back in the day, I even had my own campaign, but we spent so much time in that dungeon. It was really old back in the original D&D days. I GM'd that because I didn't want to write anything down at the time. So yeah. So yeah, definitely modules are great. Oh, hey Arjun, your kids are 6 and 4. Man, you got a lot of great stuff ahead of you. They're just about hitting those ages where they can start playing some games with you, especially your 6-year-old. Once they hit about 8 or so, it really kicks in for them. I know both my boys, who are now 13 and 15, had kicked and started playing board games with me about 8 to 10 in that range. So a couple years off, man, but then it'll fly by and they'll be wanting to take the car. So you know, don't hope and wish for those extra few years to pass by. They fly by fast enough. Anyway, let's see what else we got. Larissa, I only got to the point that I realized she hadn't seen the movie. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. A Big Trouble in China. Got it. Just want to make sure I got that. Hey, Zara. Hi. Zara 81 says hi all. That's awesome. Hello. Again, trying to keep up on this stuff in the chat. All right, guys. Well, hey, any other questions, comments? What do you want to talk about? I still have some time. There's still a bunch in the chat. So anything, I'm interested in this scales and tails thing. But again, I think my children are at a stage in our game playing that this might be a little too simplistic. I have to read on it. I don't know if that's true or not. Like I said, we could jump right into D&D. Next Kickstarter, what? Sorry, I didn't get that. Next Kickstarter, or it just says next KSRO. What does that mean, man? Next, role-play games on Kickstarter, Black and Hack. Okay, we can take a look at that one too. I don't know that one. I don't know. I don't really follow as much as the role-playing game stuff. On, let's see. Is it Black and Hack, like an ampersand type and? Let's see. Let's take a look. I don't see it. Don't see that one. Maybe I misunderstood. Okay. Yeah, so Kevin just said, and it's fun to take out all my characters and monsters from all the board games to use. Yeah, I do that all the time. It makes it easy. When you're going to role play, I have so many miniatures, I just could pull out a couple of games and have all the miniatures, awesome looking miniatures I need for a role playing game. And Arjun, I can't find that one on here. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. We'll try again. Let's see. Nope. Got this Kaigaku RPG, Ruined Kingdom, and the Complete Vigilante Hack. Yeah, I don't see that. Is it already done or something? I'm not sure. Maybe it's on a different Kickstarter or a different funding site. Oh, Black Hack. Okay, let's try that one. All right. The Black Hack. Okay. The game. Is it just a engine for anything? I'll have to read up on that. Looks like it might be this is a second edition, so it must have done okay the first time around. Their funding, wow, that's a heck of a lot of funding for a small RPG. That's amazing, guys. $63,000 on RPG. That's huge. Wow, there's some people back in this one. Speaking of minis, you're painting Mass. Do you want to paint my Massive Darkness minis? Larissa said she's painting her Massive Darkness minis. Man, those are some of the cooler minis I have too. I think actually, if I was to pick the game with probably the prettiest minis I've seen, it would probably be Blood Rage and Mythic Battles. Mythic Battles. The minis in that are just unreal. You don't want to paint mine? Oh man, I didn't pay. Well, maybe I don't know. Yeah, because I have all these games and I haven't set up to where I marked them to paint. I want to paint them. Like I have the miniatures for Darkest Night. You know, one of my favorite games, and I primed them all, and they've been sitting in the box for like a month, primed, ready to go. I just haven't sat down to paint them yet. Got too many other things to do. So I love the mechanics in KDM and neat AI too. Yeah, yeah, and and the Kingdom Death Monster minis are fantastic. The thing is, I don't like, and it's really good for the Kingdom Death Monster minis because they're so customizable. But I don't like putting together my minis. There's really the big downside for me with Shadows of Brimstone, and why a couple of the expansions I haven't played with yet, because one or two of them that I got in the Kickstarter, just because I haven't put together the minis yet. And I put together hundreds of minis for that game, and it's for a while it's fun, it's relaxing, and then it gets old. And so I have the same problem with Kingdom Death Monster. The worst with Kingdom Death Monster is it's not a set mini. It's not like you can go say this one. You could put them together in different ways, and that makes it more interesting, but also makes it harder at the same time. So yeah, I really like the mini. The way they look is fantastic. Yeah. And I do think, I know a lot of people look at Kingdom Death Monster, and I think I'm seeing that pop up in chat now, and say, well, you're doing the kind of same things over and over again, but I don't know, man. That game is really engaging to me. Even though you go out and fight a white lion or an antelope, screaming antelope, multiple times, each of those fights feels slightly different. Your character's a little different. The monster's AI gets mixed differently. There's a different set of circumstances. And the monsters play very differently. The white lion plays so differently than the screaming antelope, and the Gorm very different. I found the Gorm to be a little on the weak side. Maybe that's just got lucky, but Gorm was interesting. So yeah, and yes, Kevin, I hate putting those minis together for Kingdom Death Monsters is a pill, and for Shadows of Brimstone. Like I got the majority of the ones done for Shadows of Brimstone. So who else has put together minis for games, and who likes that? How does the group that's here watching, do any of you really enjoy actually putting the minis together? Or here's another question for you, and you can answer two at the same time, I guess. Do you really see a quality difference in the minis that you have to assemble nowadays, like very recently, compared to the minis that are pre-assembled or precast? Like I think the minis in, for example, Massive Darkness, or almost any of the cool mini or not games, and the minis in like the Mythic games are also beautiful. I don't know why you would want to have to put them together. They're as good looking as anything in Shadows of Brimstone, in my mind. And we'll have to see some of the other games like Forbidden Fortress when it comes out. We'll have to see. Yeah, KDM, Dark Mark said, KDM broke me for quality. I just got the Edge Dawnfall War Chest in the mail, and the minis are nice, but I was disappointed in the quality for sure. Yeah, see, Kingdom Death Monster, the minis are really amazing, and I think part of it's not just the quality of the mini, but the uniqueness of the sculptures and the uniqueness of the creatures. They're very different, which makes it more interesting. And Orcs and Orcs and Orc, I have tons of minis. Like back when Myth came out, you got this massive amount of Goblin and Orc minis, and they look great, but they're Orcs and Goblins, and you get those anywhere. Whereas Kingdom Death Monster, I mean, some of the minis, you look at some of the minis, and pardon me for saying this, but like I was putting together the Phoenix, and he's got these hands coming out of his rectum, and it's just really bizarre and off the wall, but at the same time cool and interesting. Not that, I think you get my point. So Larissa said, I haven't gotten a game that I've had to put together. Yeah, I don't really think it's necessary anymore. I really don't. I mean, some of them have better quality than others, for sure. The minis that came with Darkest Night, for example, are fair quality. They're not great. But, yeah, the hands were awful. Anyway, and So those minis are okay, but they're acceptable for a board game. By any, I mean they're fine for a board game. The minis that came in like A Touch of Evil those are older style, so they're softer and maybe don't have as much detail as the ones they can get today. But if you look at the minis coming out today, like the ones in Solomon Kane, for example, or the ones in Mythic Battles, they are every bit as beautiful as any mini you would have to put together. I can't even imagine them being better, to be honest. Yeah. So Isfan, gameplay is way more important to me than minis. That's actually one of the reasons I gravitate toward like a lot of the Victory Point games that I love. I mean, they're not designed for their minis at all. But you know, like for example, they could have made cool minis for Dawn of the Zeds, but why? The tokens have a purpose. They're meaningful. The gameplay is important, and so that means a lot more to me than minis. I don't mind like Conan. So the Conan game, I thought the gameplay looked cool, but I bought it for the minis because I like Conan, right? So when I invested in the Conan game, I got it for the minis, if that makes sense. I don't know how you feel about that. Tell me what you guys think about that. Yeah, Arjun, Massive Darkness has some awesome minis. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I do. So, Larissa, I do agree. Massive Darkness minis are better than Sword and Sorcery minis. Sword and Sorcery gameplay is really good, though, right? I think so. If I was to pick which one I would take based on overall um, value, including gameplay, I think I would pick Sword and Sorcery over Massive Darkness. Massive Darkness is fun. We sit down, we played a bunch of it, and it's fun. But Sword and Sorcery is more engaging, has more depth. So from a gameplay perspective, yeah. Now, interestingly enough, when you look at Kingdom Death Monster, the gameplay is phenomenal. But here's one where I'd say defies the logic. The whole game defies the logic of gaming anyway. But would it have been as interesting without the minis? I don't think so. I think the minis are a huge part of Kingdom Death Monster as a game. So while the gameplay is really cool, you could definitely play them without the minis. You could play them with tokens. I don't think, like if it had standees, no way. That game needed to have those minis. So, and they needed to be of really good quality because of the uniqueness of the world and the environment. So again, I think there's a wide breadth there, but I would take gameplay over minis. Like some of my favorite games don't even have any minis. Like I mentioned, Dominant Species has cubes and pawns. You know, there's no minis in that game. It's one of my favorite games. So yeah, I agree with you, Svan. KDM had to have the minis. Whereas, and so did some of the games like Massive Darkness. Now, I don't know that Massive Darkness needed to have minis the way they do. Like they have, you could have had a mini represent a group and had hit points instead of having 100 minis. Which I guess the point of Massive Darkness was to have all those minis on the board, make it look cool. That was one of the gameplay elements of it. So, not sure. Okay, Darkmark. I have a huge Descent 2 collection, and I think for such a large production, the game quality is better than any I've seen mass-produced. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't have a ton of the Descent 2 stuff yet. Just can only spread myself so thin on these things. And now that the app is out, I keep thinking I want to play Descent on the channel, and that, or just play it with my family, but I haven't done it yet. So I haven't seen a lot of the expansions and seen the quality, but the base game quality is fine. Again, I would say more than passable for a board game, for sure. So, Arjun, what do you think of Too Many Bones? Outside of watching playthroughs, I haven't played it. Does not need, based on what I've seen, if we include that in this miniature conversation, there's absolutely no reason that Too Many Bones would need miniatures. It's a dice-based game. It's, you know, when I think of dice-based games, well, let me think. What am I trying to think of? Some that I like, blanking out. But I have some really good. There's some really good dice-based games, and they don't need minis. That's for sure. Yeah, so Too Many Bones. I don't know. I'd love to get it to the table and play it. I just haven't picked up a copy of it. It's kind of pricey, so I haven't gotten it. Plastic or wood for materials? For materials on what, I guess is the question there. So Isfan asked, yeah, plastic or wood on materials. So I'll tell you this: for miniatures, plastic or metal, plastic now. The plastic technologies come so far; they're just so much better. Yeah, I agree. There was a time when the Kickstarter first coming out. Arjun says I was very hyped about minis, but I don't care anymore. Just good gameplay. Can't agree more on that. Can't agree more on that. There was a time, like I think back when the first Zombicide came out, and Kickstarter really opened up the doors for people to produce, have a production value on games that they wouldn't have normally been able to do. That's what changed things, and that's why you see so many more miniature-based games now, and why that's so popular, because it kind of launched, Kickstarter kind of launched that for all of us, and giving people a lower barrier of entry to do a real high-quality miniatures-based game. And then everybody realized how popular that was on Kickstarter. Now that's basically mostly what you see in board games on Kickstarter, is miniature-based games. So, yeah. So you said you're all in on Too Many Bones. Yeah, I would love to play. I think I would really love Too Many Bones, and I've seen gameplay on it. And again, when I looked at, especially when you had the expansion, when I looked at the price of it and getting all I'm kind of a completionist, like to have all of it. I haven't been able to go in on that financially, and when I did find copies of it, they were kind of pricey. There was a while where finding copies was hard, and they were very pricey. So that's what the only thing that's kept me out of Too Many Bones is I didn't Kickstarter originally, I didn't back it, and getting a copy of it. Let me go look. Let's see what's happening over here for Too Many Bones. I don't know if I mean I could look at some of the retail places and see, but see if they have it. I don't know if they do or not. Well, I don't think it's actually $10, right? What is $10 on Too Many Bones? Oh, it's a character sheet for $10. So if I look at the games, let's see all 12 right now. Let's see, like $200, $350. I mean, I can't go in on that. That's just too much. Third edition, $200. Yeah. Let's see what it looks like on Amazon. Can you even get a copy on Amazon? And if you do, is it $200? Not available. Well, it says 280. Yeah, there's just no way, guys. Yeah, not going to happen. And then if you go back to eBay, you might be able to swing something there, but even that's $280. So that's what kept me out of Too Many Bones, in a nutshell. Just too much cost there. So yeah, I guess is it $128 at Chip Theory Games? Is that? Yeah, bug them to send me a review copy. I'd love to get it. I would put that on the channel, absolutely, no question. If I had a copy of it, I would put Too Many Bones on the channel, probably more than once. Based on the gameplay I saw, it seems like it's one that would see my table more than some of the other games where I play them once and put them aside because well, it's not that I don't like them as much, because I don't put games on the table I don't think I'd enjoy, because there's too much involved in doing a 10, 15 episode series to put something on that I'm going to hate. I think I did that once. I was playing a game. I kept playing it to finish because I wanted to, and I didn't like it. I can't remember what game that was, but I learned my lesson. So, yeah, Larissa, you say you're getting Too Many Bones soon, or I'm losing track here? Yeah, I mean, it looks like a really fun game, and I love the dice manipulation of it. It's really cool. So, yeah, that's a really great game. Seventh Continent, Arjun mentioned, also a great game. Yes, Seventh Continent. So, by the way, I think I have a game, a friend of mine and myself, who, because we know we can get together enough to do it, got into, I think we were 15 hours in and haven't finished the first curse together on that. And I've played a couple of other curses. I haven't finished any of them. The gameplay, the game on that is so massive. Talk about value for your money in gameplay. If you enjoy the gameplay in Seventh Continent, you're getting more than enough value for your money. It is crazy, crazy how much value you get now. And I did back the expansion on that too when it came out, because I definitely want that. And Seventh Continent's one that, if I ever really go all in on a series on my channel, I don't know how long that would go on. It'd be like one of my video game survival series, 30, 50 episodes long. Like Conan Exiles right now. I don't know how many episodes that's going to go, guys. I just don't. That thing is going on and on and on. And I don't. I kind of slow play those games because I'm just kind of enjoying it. Like I enjoy building up my base and stuff like that in those games. So anyway, you're getting Too Many Bones or Undertow, one of them, as a gift, Larissa. I hope so. That's cool, man. I hope you get that. That'd be really awesome because I know it's a good game and it's kind of hard to. Well, I guess they're saying it's on the website right now at $128. That's not. It's not too bad considering what you get in the game, especially if you get those neoprene mats and everything. If you don't, I think that's in the base game. I don't recall, but if you don't get the neoprene mats, I don't think that'd be as good a value. Also, on Seventh Continent, yeah, Seventh Continent, man, that's a fun game. So I like things. So one go and done. So interesting. Isvan said, "What about replayability or one go and done?" So that brings you into a conversation of two different game styles, right? Okay, good. Thanks for Kevin. Just let me know you always get the neoprene mats, and that's awesome. It's a gift, Larissa. That is very cool because that's a pretty valuable gift. So it depends on the replayability or one go and done. I'll give you an example of that, and I guess you could say there's replayability in this, but Time Stories. So Time Stories is theoretically a one and done game, right? You play through the first game and you should be done with it. However, I've ended up playing that first scenario 2 or 3 times. And one time I did a thing where I can't remember what it was at BGG Con. I sat down with a group of people trying to learn it and just help them play it, and that was fun too, watching their decision making and what they did, which was different than mine. Or another one I did is I just played with other people and I just didn't make the decisions. I said, "Where do you want me to go?" and kind of follow along, and it was a lot of fun, and I kind of guided them a little bit, but it was fun. Anyway, that's technically a one and done type game, and I like that. So to me, in legacy games, see, they're not one and done to me either, because there is a lot of replayability as you're playing through the legacy. And then a good legacy game is going to get to the end of it and give you a game you can play over and over again by the end of it. I don't know. I'm really looking for the Betrayal Legacy one that's coming out soon, based on Betrayal on House of the Hill, but it's a legacy game version of that. That looks really cool. I don't really like games that are so rote. I'll give you an example. I'm thinking of the first big deck builder that came out. Why am I blanking out on the name? Anyway, the first big deck builder that came out. Well, I cannot believe I'm blanking out on the name of this game. And it has replayability, but it's so rote that people who get really good at it don't. They just blow everybody away on it. Dominion. Thank you, Argent. Dominion. Yeah, that one, I loved that game when it first came out, ended up hating Dominion, because the people that played it so often, they knew how to make these strings and combos, and you sit there just watch them combo it out unto death. Hated that. To me, that does not demonstrate replayability in the sense that you bring in new players with veteran players, and unless they're playing their own skills down, they're going to win. I ran into that with some older board games as well, where people could become like experts at it, and in doing so kind of ruin the replayability of it, because it's the same game every time. And with Dominion, for example, you can get on a roll where if you have the same card sets and you lose and you're a veteran of it, I'd be shocked if you lost. You just roll people over. Power Grid, that was the other one that I got that from. My very first game of Power Grid, and by the way, I play a lot of multiplayer Euro type games. My very first game of Power Grid, I sat down with somebody who was an expert, and they were teaching it. But what they really wanted to do was show everybody how superior they were at the game, and it made it miserable. And when a game, I mean, everybody's going to get better at a game the more they play it. I get that. But when a game is so rote that you can map it out in such a way where you can always be that good, and there's no variability that's going to, knock you down a peg or help level set, that's a lack of replayability. So there's my thoughts on that. Again, I don't know if that matters to you or not. I'm just sharing with you my thoughts and feelings. Okay, yeah, Larissa, I'm really looking forward to the Betrayal Legacy game. I like legacy games, because I like stories, and so time stories. Charterstone. So Charterstone was interesting. We got like 2 to 3 games in, and I couldn't get that group back together again, which I don't know if that told me something about Charterstone or that group. But Arjun mentioned Charterstone as a legacy game. Yeah, so I have it, and I like it, and I wish it could be soloed. I think there might be. I don't know if it can. I don't think it can be, because I would then play it. But we got, when you get, the problem with that game is you get 3 games in. If you have to change people out, that's kind of no fun for them, because they don't know what happened before, and they're kind of getting a hand-me-down, right? That's the way I look at it. So if you're going to play a legacy game, you want to make sure you can keep the same people. Now, conversely, Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven is like a legacy game that you can filter people back in and out of. Yeah, okay, yeah, another one to talk about, Arjun, Gloomhaven. You just popped that up as I started talking about it. So that one has massive replayability in it, even though it's a legacy game. Especially if you get the peel and the reusable stickers. You could play that game to perpetuity, and even if you do play it and have some of the stickers on the board, you can still go start over and just have all those things open and available to the players. They still have to have certain perks on the party sheet to be able to advance the storyline anyway. So to me, that has huge replayability. Yeah. Yeah, it's fan. Yeah, I get you. I always choose my games so that I have a lot of... Yeah. Well, a lot of it is because... And there's always new games coming out. And what sucks is I keep getting new games when I want to go back to the ones I've played because there is replay in them. Yeah, Arjun, Gloomhaven has a massive setup time unless you make an $80 investment to get one of the inserts. I don't have an insert, but the copy that we play on is a friend of mine's. And I was in 3 different Gloomhaven games at one point. And one of them, they had the insert. And that made the setup time drop, I don't know, 20 minutes. It made a big impact. So, but to do that, you have to make a $60 or $80 investment in one of the inserts by, I think, Daedalus or the Broken Token does it. And by the way, those inserts are fantastic, but they're not always cheap, especially in those bigger games. Yeah, well, so Kevin, yeah, he says, I feel sorry for people who have to set up. Yeah, I always stayed around and helped break it down and set it up. We all did, so, yeah. So Arjun just said there's a cheap one on Kickstarter. Well, it looks like we're going back for a visit to Kickstarter right now. Let's take a look at that and see what that is. And that was called what now? Let's see. It's called Folded Space. Okay, Folded Space. Let's look at that. Here we go. Folded. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's less expensive versions of things. And I guess it's based on the game, right? So, whoa, that is really cheap. Wow. Well, so my question on that would be then, is it, being that it's less expensive, trying to see, I don't see, I don't see Gloomhaven on that list, do I? Yeah, I don't see it. Being that it's less expensive, is it of the same caliber from the ability? Because one of the things that the Broken Token and Daedalus do is they make it really good for breaking down and breaking it down and packing it back up. It's really well thought out and planned. I could assume these are. I just don't know. Oh, it's on their first Kickstarter, so you can go order it, I imagine, right? Because this is Campaign 2. I wonder if you can get something from Campaign 1 to say. Let's see. Okay, yeah, you can get a selection from Campaign 1 too as well. Okay. I'm going to check. Okay, well, there's another thing to check out. When's this project coming? Look, you guys are going to make me spend money. Put that on my reminder list for now. That's interesting. Thanks for sharing that. That's really cool. Folded Space. Starkmark asked me, before I forget, Doug, what's the best way to contact you for the giveaway? Sorry, I missed that. Okay, yeah, it's no problem. You can do a number of things. You could I think the easiest and most effective way would probably be to message me on Board Game Geek under Doug Mystic Eye, because those messages are easy to find. Sometimes I miss them when you do them to YouTube. You can also do it on my Facebook page and just private message me there, Doug Mystic Eye. So either one of those would work fine. You can also do it here. You can message me on here, I think, as well. It goes to my Google Mail. But when my Google Mail gets really cluttered with junk, so sometimes I miss things. Yeah, I got to look into this one on Folded Space. I want to look at that Gloomhaven insert if it's cheaper, because I don't have one for mine. It's one of the ones I didn't get because we've been playing with somebody else's. So that's interesting. Okay, thanks, Mark, for asking that question. I don't want you to miss out. I hope that. By the way, so I'll end the conversation about anything about the giveaway. If I don't hear from anybody in about a week or so that won, I'm going to redraw, and I'll post so if I don't hear from all the people on this list, I'll try and reach out to them if I can. But if I don't hear from them in about a week, I will redraw and give that to somebody else. So, and Larissa, don't forget that the Thornwatch thing. So make sure you get me that as well, because I don't want to. I'm going to give these games away. I want to make sure they go to a home where people are going to enjoy them and have fun. So if somebody doesn't want to respond or doesn't want to get it, I will give it away to someone else. Not that they won't have fun at my home, but I have most of these already. So yeah, okay. All right, guys. Well, we've been going for. Let me see. What time is it? It is 12:44. So we've been going a little over an hour. If there are more questions, I'm happy to keep chatting. Otherwise, we can. Let's see. Okay. So apart from board games, how's the weather there? Here in Europe, Romania, we have rain for almost a week now. We're just. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Wow, that's rough. Man, that's tough. I'm sorry. I hope you're safe. Stay safe, please. So I live in Austin, Texas, the Austin, Texas area, and as far as weather goes, it is probably one of the milder climates in the country. So, like right now, it's hot now, so it's our summertime. So I think it's going to be in the low 90s today. But it's a little overcast. So there's some shade, and tomorrow we're going to go to a place called Barton Springs, and it's going to be in the 90s, and it's a natural springs. I live in what is I definitely consider the jewel of Texas. Austin is an amazing, amazing city to live in. I grew up originally in Los Angeles, Pasadena, California, and so as a city guy. And then when I got the option to move to Texas, I was like, "There's no way I will never move to Texas," because my experience with Texas is a huge state for somebody. Isvan, you probably don't realize how big Texas is. It's as big as some countries, and West Texas is all. When you see old westerns and you see the tumbleweed going down the street and the gunslingers and the dust, minus the gunslingers, that's West Texas. And nowadays there's even a lot of those. But so yeah, it's crazy. And then you come to Austin, and Austin's got multiple rivers. I have a creek. I live in a cul-de-sac. Not really a cul-de-sac. It's like an L or U rather. And I walk across the street to the nature trail that goes up to the park and goes along a creek and everything. It's just awesome. And that's something really unique about Austin. And there's lots of rivers. We can go kayaking, and tubing is popular here. So yeah, it's a great place to live. Let's see. Let's back up. So I'm sorry you're experiencing that. We do get severe weather here in the form of heavy rains and floods. If we were to get, we don't get a lot else. Like we don't really get tornadoes or anything like that. But we had a storm just a couple of weeks ago that was so severe that it did a lot of damage. Like it actually blew my back doors open that were locked. The wind was so strong, and just poured water into my family room. It was kind of crazy, but that happens. So let's go back and catch up on some of these things. Oh, I'm glad you're excited about the puzzle, Mark. You're a nerd. You have a 24,000 piece one. Well, this is only 1,000 pieces, but hey. Okay, thanks, Larissa. Yeah, BGG, me, awesome. I'll look forward to hearing from you on that. Arjun, you're from Holland, huh? We get a month of hot weather. So we had the biggest string of hot weather we had was 90 straight days of over 100 a few years back. Normally, it doesn't get so. When I'm speaking in degrees, so just so you know what I'm talking about, it's hot, 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 hot. And like I said, tomorrow it's going to be 91, I think, and that's pretty bad. Yeah, I mean, Larissa, growing up in Los Angeles, talk about mild weather. You get so the smog offsets the awesome moderate climate. Because one of the things I always thought was crazy is we would go up to Las Vegas. So for those of you that don't know, Los Angeles is about a 4 or 5 hour drive, depending on how quickly you drive. I can do it in under 4. You go over the mountains to Nevada and you go to Las Vegas, right? So we go there. We do weekend trips. We go there and gamble and come back. Well, when you're coming back down out of the mountains into the Los Angeles basin, Southern California basin, you see this layer of smog. It's just awful. And that's when you realize, man, unless you're by the beach, you're breathing in some bad stuff. So you said Larissa, you said the smog's gotten better. Maybe. I mean, it was a long time ago. I've been living in Texas now for 20 years. But I grew up, almost 25 years. And I'm dating myself here, but in Los Angeles area. So yeah, so smog's gotten better. That's awesome. But it's a big problem. Yeah. What is 5 feet tall and 7th continent got a weather add-in? I'm missing out on a comment here. Hold on. Okay, I lost the chain there. Oh, your puzzle. Oh, your puzzle is 5 feet long or tall and 15 feet long. Oh my God, that's crazy. Well, good luck with that, Mark. I hope. I'm sure you're enjoying it, or you wouldn't be doing it. Yeah. Yes. So Isvan, we could get into our thoughts and philosophies on global warming. I would like to think that most people realize that it's a fact now. I think the only thing that people can debate at all is what the level of human impact is on that. But I do believe we all know that global warming, I hope we all know and understand scientifically global warming is a thing and is impacting our planet. You can tell I'm trying to be PC here because I don't want to get into a political conversation with people or personal philosophy on global warming. I don't. We're here to play games. But I mean, we've all experienced it. Like in Austin, I talk about severe storms. The severity of the storms have gotten worse. There's no question. And that's part of global warming. And I was in a 7-Eleven, and for those who are abroad and don't know what 7-Eleven is, it's a convenient store gas station. And these guys were talking, and they said, "See, it's 100 degrees here." Or it was during the winter. I take it back. It was during the winter. It was 43 degrees, and they said, "See, it's so cold. It's raining. It's almost snowing. There's that global warming. That's crazy talk." Well, what people don't realize is what global warming is doing is creating more severe weather. So we don't normally get weather that's consistently in the 40s here in Austin. It's cold, or below freezing, and we've had a lot of that. And when it's happened for longer stretches, and that's part of global warming. But we'll move on from that. Dark Mark, you got an 8-foot gaming table you use for. Oh, wow! So you do it in sections. Wow. Yeah, the weather patterns are all messed up. Without a doubt. So 8-foot gaming table, and you have to do it in sections. So I can't imagine. You're gonna have to take a picture. I would like to see how that puzzle looks when it's all done, and where the heck you're gonna put it. That's very cool. That's very cool. I can't imagine a 15-foot puzzle. So I didn't see is how long is this taking you? I didn't see that in the threads. How long is that puzzle going to take you, do you think? Okay, back to games. What about the mind? Okay, what about the mind? You mean elaborate on that. Let's talk about that. Oh, so I like to play games with my wife too, but my wife's not much of a gamer. I don't know. We have a lot of things in common, a lot of interests in common, but board gaming is something she'll do and she enjoys it, but she doesn't want to do it as regularly as I do. That's for sure. Oh, the Mind is a card game. I don't even know. I've never heard of it. I've never seen it, or maybe I have and haven't paid attention. So I don't do I'm not a huge fan of trick-taking games, memory games. I'll give you an example. What was it? Paperback. The game Paperback, where you're trying to create words out of cards. That game felt like homework to me. It's just terrible. I just hated it. I know a lot of people love it. I just hated it. And so, depending on card games, I like card games depending on what they are. So, for example, Pathfinder Adventure card game. I like that. That's The Mind is a real easy co-op. Well, okay, I'll check that out. Is that The Mind you're talking about? Okay, it goes on my list. I'll take a look at that. If it's a co-op game, I want to look at it. So, The Mind. Thank you for letting me know about that. I didn't know. Oh, saying the mind is some people say it's not really a game. You know, we used to build puzzles in my family a long time. It was a family thing I did growing up. We built puzzles and again, it solved the same itch kind of as board games, because what it was doing was getting us to sit around a table and talk to each other. So puzzles have that effect as well when you're working together on them, for sure. So, I'll check out the mind. I don't really have any commentary on it because I don't know anything about it. When you say it's not like a game, or some say it's not a game, huh? Wow, a year to do that 24,000 piece puzzle. That is dedication, my friend. Good luck on that. That is awesome. Like I said, you got to take a picture of it when it's done. I'd love to see that. That'd be great. Well, guys, so we have been on, let's see, it's been almost an hour and a half, I think. But I think we're going to wrap it up. I've had a really good time. I need to do more of these because I really enjoy chatting with you guys, and I like to hear what your thoughts and opinions are on games. And the games you recommend me is really awesome. I appreciate it. I got several now. Yeah, PAX Renaissance, Field of Fire, Mind. I wrote something else down too. Yeah. So those are good, and we'll check out. Oh, and this one, this Folded Space. Got to check that out. That's very cool. Yeah. So guys, hey, thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope you'll come back and join me again sometime. It looks like I might need to do these a little more often, because I just enjoy it. Enjoy talking to you guys. So thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it. Take care. Thanks, Larissa. I'm glad you had fun with this. All of you that joined me from abroad, really thank you for that. I know it's probably an odd time for you, and I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys as a community. I try to say it as often as possible, but I can't really put the amount of meaning I have to it. I had this desire, this dream to really balloon out and expand the channel and become a Watch It Played or something. But to be honest with you, I'm enjoying what my channel is right now. So, and I have you to thank for that. So thank you so much, guys. Take care. I will see you soon. And in the next playthrough, I think it's definitely going to be Big Trouble in Little China. So look for that. And if you have any other recommendations, please let me know. The Lords of Hallis was a recommendation, and I finally got that in a trade. So we'll get that to the table soon. So thanks, guys. I'll talk to you soon, and I appreciate you joining me on the stream. This was a lot of fun. Thanks so much. Take care.